Hello students. Hello students. In today's lecture, I am going to tell you about cell cycle and cell division. Cell division is a process by which a cell duplicates its genome and other constituent of the cell and finally divide into dotted cell is called cell division. Cell division is of two types, mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis occurs in somatic cell, stem cell. Meiosis occurs in gamete mother cell to produce gametes for male gametes and female gametes. Meiosis also occurs in those organisms where they have dominant life cycle is haplontic life cycle or the haploid phase. So from zygote to produce haploid phase, haploid life cycle, they undergoes meiosis and produce haploid spores. And in next we have cell cycle. Cell cycle is nothing but the sequence of events which are occurring during cell division. During the cell cycle, at different stages, different process occurs. For example, during the cell cycle, there is two subphase. There is two phase. One is interphase, another is M phase, means mitosis phase. In interphase, the cell prepare itself. So we can say the cell cycle having two phase, interphase and M phase. I will tell you detail of this cell cycle later on. So in next, I am going to tell you that the growth and reproduction are synonymous in case of unicellular, as you have already read in the living world. But these are the characteristic features. I'm not saying the defining features. These are the characteristic features in all living organism where there is growth and there is reproduction. But in case of multicellular, growth and reproduction are two different and independent phenomena. So here in every living organism, there is generally growth and reproduction. So cell division is very important in living organism and also important life process where a parent cell divides into two daughter cell, and this comes from the modified cell theory of Rudolf Virchow, where he said omnicellular ecellular means the existing cells or the present cells are formed from the pre-existing cells. So from one parent cell, after division, it produces two daughter cells. During cell division, why cell divides? As we know, there is cytoplasm, and in cytoplasm there is metabolic activities, metabolic reactions going on. So due to the reactions in the in the cytoplasm, the cell growth occurs, and in the cytoplasm there is DNA replication takes place. So in next, we have the cell cycle, the sequential events by which cell duplicates its genome and make other constituent of cell eventually divide into daughter cell. During cell cycle, the cell growth continuously in terms of increase in cytoplasm due to the metabolism, where there is anabolism and catabolism. If anabolism is more, means there is positive growth. If there is catabolism more, there is degrowth or negative growth. So during cell cycle, there's two important process. One is cell growth occurs continuously in the cytoplasm in terms of there is increase in the cytoplasm, and in next the DNA synthesis which occurs at a specific phase of the cell cycle, like in interphase. In interphase, there are three substages: G1 phase, S phase, and G2 phase. So here you can see how the cell cycle operates. So the sequence of these events are like we have G1 phase, S phase, and G2 phase. So maximum duration of the cell cycle, if I'm taking the example of human cell, human chick cell divides in every 24 hours. In 24 hours, 95% cell cycle duration is in the interphase. In this, majority of the time cell present in G1 phase, and then we have S phase and then G2 phase. Here G means gap phase. So cell cycle consists of two phase. One is interphase and another is M phase, or we can say the mitotic phase. M phase further divided into further four steps. One is prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. You can learn the mnemonics by PMAT. You can learn the mnemonics as PMATs: P for prophase, M for metaphase, A for anaphase, and T for telophase. This is the PMAT. Okay. So after completion of mitosis phase, there is cytokinesis, where after mitosis, in one cell there is two nucleus. So our aim is to, or the aim of cell division or target of the cell division is to form two cell, not only two nuclei. So these two nuclei per cell after cytokinesis will form two different and individual cell. Okay. So in next, duration of cell cycle is different in different cells. Like one organism may have shorter cell cycle duration, other cell may have different cell cycle. For example, E. coli is a bacteria, Escherichia coli, which divides in every 20 minutes, whereas yeast divides in 90 minutes, where human chick cell divides in every 24 hours. So first of all, I am going to tell you the interface. Here, interface is the resting phase, or we can say it is the gap between two successive cell division or two successive mitotic phase, known as interphase. It is the longest phase of the cell cycle. As I told you earlier, the 95% of the cell cycle duration is the interphase, where the cell itself prepare it for the main phase, for the where there is actual cell division occurring, where there is separation of the chromosome. So 95% of 24 hours is 23 hours. So the cell is present in 23 hours in interphase, but only for 1 hour for the M phase. Here, the interphase divided into three substages: G1 phase, S phase, and G2 phase. How you can learn these mnemonics? G1 में G1 में जे ले टू टू बीच में एस कर ले ऐश कर ले, बाद में मरना ही है. So G1, S, and G2 phase and M phase. Okay. This interphase, also known as resting phase, because there is no as such actual cell division is occurring, but the cell is preparing itself. Like there is duplication of DNA in the S phase, or we can say replication phase, or we can say the synthesis phase. So next we have G1 phase. G1 phase means gap 1 phase or the growth phase. It is the first phase of the cell cycle, or we can say the post-mitotic phase or pre-DNA synthesis phase. It is interval between mitosis and DNA replication. So during G1 phase, cell size increases, cell is metabolically active, DNA and protein synthesis, DNA replication occurring, and protein synthesis occurs, like basic histone protein for the formation of chromosome. Most organelle duplicates in this phase. Okay. So in next we have the S phase. It is known as synthesis phase, DNA replication phase. During S phase, the DNA replication takes place. Like from one DNA molecule, it forms two DNA molecule. If there is one chromatid it will form two chromatid like this one. After replication, one chromatid becomes two chromatids. Becomes two chromatids after replication. In diploid cell, if there is DNA amount 2C, like we can say two, if there is two chromatid after replication, after S phase, it becomes 4C. If there is 1C, then it will become 2C. If there is 2C, it will become 4C after S phase. But you should keep in mind the number of chromosome will not change. Like what? If in a human there is 46 chromosome, it will be 46 even after the mitosis. So, for the division, for the separation of chromosome, for the separation of chromatids, there is a cell organ required named as centrosome, and their unit is known as centriole. So centriole duplication also takes place in this phase, and histone protein are also synthesized in the S phase, which are need to be packed the DNA molecule to form the chromosome. Like for example, you can see here DNA content in a diploid cell. If there is 2C, in G2 it becomes 4C, where in the S phase or synthesis phase, number of chromosome remains same, no change in chromosome number. For example, number of DNA molecule is 46. In human cell, it is 92. How? Due to replication. If there is one chromatid, it becomes two chromatids. Next, we have G2 phase. G2 phase is the gap 2 phase or growth phase 2. It is also known as second growth phase or pre-mitotic phase, or we can also say the post DNA synthesis phase. It is basically nothing but interval between DNA replication and the mitotic phase. During G2 phase, cytoplasmic growth continues, volume of nucleus increases, RNA and protein synthesis also occurring. Okay. Special proteins are also formed for the formation of spindle fiber. These special proteins are known as tubulin and which are needed for the formation of spindle fiber. And this spindle fiber will be attached to the centriole on one side, and another side it will attach to the centromere, or you can say kinetochore, where there is centromere. But there is also another phase, that is the G note phase. It is also known as question phase because uh, some cell or mostly cell of the body do not divide every time. Like we have heart cell, we have neurons. They divide. They after division, after proper maturation, they enter into an inactive phase, or we can say the less active phase. But the cells are metabolically active, but they are not dividing unless and until it is being told to do so. Cell which do not divide exit from G1 phase and enter a G0 phase. It is metabolically active, but it will not divide. It will not proliferate or perform it to perform functions. So, if needed, cells in G0 phase may re-enter in the G1 phase and continue the cell cycle. In next class, we will study about M phase. Thank you.